Let's bring in Inside.com founder and CEO Jason Calacanis and Loop Ventures founder and managing partner Gene Munster. So, Gene, what we're hearing right now is there's strong demand to raise pricing ahead of the official pricing, which we'll get after the bell today, but some big questions longer term about whether Snap is a good investment. What's your take?
I think who knows what it's going to do tomorrow. It's probably up just because, as you said, a lot of hype around it. But I think the next year is going to be challenging because this is going to probably feel more like Twitter than Facebook. And the reason is that this is more about improving ARPU versus growing the base, even though that there is some interest in Europe, as John Fort was just reporting. But their strategy is more about improving ARPU. I think that that's really sets up, and the valuation here, we're talking about 30 times next year revenue. Facebook is at 19 times, and so this is an expensive stock. So I think that it's going to be choppy for the next year. After 5 years, I think it looks more promising as they get more into the camera.
What's your take, Jason? What are you hearing about demand, how big of a deal this is, and how Snap's been doing on the roadshow over the last few weeks?
Yeah, this is a tremendous company, and I think this is really the story of the artist and the thief. If you look, Evan Spiegel, in the 5 years that Snapchat has existed, has created 4 incredibly delightful features. Obviously, ephemeral messaging where the messages disappear, stories where you create short little videos that tell your life like a documentary, filters to put flowers in your hair like Jim Cramer loves to do, and then finally the spectacles where you can record your life. And the thief, Mark Zuckerberg, has stolen 3 out of these 4 features and tried to destroy Snapchat. And so the question is, you have Snapchat, which has an incredibly artistic, fantastic founder in Evan Spiegel, who is up against a juggernaut in Facebook that not only has Zuckerberg stealing every feature and putting it into Facebook, but he's convinced the Instagram and WhatsApp founders to try to kill Snapchat as well, and you have Instagram and WhatsApp now stealing their features. So the question is, do you want to bet on the thief, the artist who created these, or the den of thieves who are stealing all these features? And that is a really problematic issue for Evan Spiegel, but still, even with all of their might, Facebook can't kill Snapchat, and they keep trying. That, to me, says that Snapchat is an amazing company and worth buying.
John?
And so I guess, Gene, the question is, do we have enough evidence that Snap is able to outrun Facebook and its various forms? It's like Terminator 2, I guess. Instagram, the most direct competitor, but also WhatsApp. Have they shown enough in their innovation that Facebook has been following that they can stay far enough ahead to command this kind of valuation?
They've given some hints, and again, I think the next year is going to be choppy for Snap stock. But longer term, the hints are spectacles and what they're doing around the camera and the hardware. This is the first really usable AR. And when Facebook, on their last earnings call, is talking about improving the camera, they're talking about doing some of the same filters. So they're playing catch-up with Snapchat. So as an investor, I think you've got to look at really what they're doing. They've got many hardware engineers, and I think that that's probably the cutting edge that is going to give them a long-term advantage.
All right.
Did you hear the joke about Evan Spiegel being really tired, by the way? He's been exhausted from the roadshow and also by fulfilling his duties as the VP of product at Facebook.
Oh, that's a good one. I think that his fiancée, Miranda Kerr, would agree with you on that one, Jason. Be sure to stay with us. CNBC all over the Snap IPO tomorrow right here live at the New York Stock Exchange, where the stock will debut for trading. And also be sure to tune in to Closing Bell today for the actual pricing. We say thank you to Gene. With all that jargon, ARPU, average revenue per user, we'll be sure to watch it. We know, Jason, you were an early investor in Uber, so we want you to stick around to talk about this one, because Uber CEO Travis Kalanick formally apologizing to his staff after a video emerged showing him arguing with one of his company's drivers. Here's a portion of that video originally obtained by Bloomberg.
I lost $97,000 because of you. I bankrupt because of you.
Look.
Yes.
You know what?
You keep changing every day.
What have
you keep changing.
Hold on a second.
Day.
What have I changed about black?
Huh?
What have
you
I
changed the whole business.
What?
You dropped the prices.
On black?
Yes, you did. Did with $20. Started with $20.
You know what?
How much is the mile now? $2.75?
You know what?
What?
Some people don't like to take responsibility for their own shit. They blame everything in their life on somebody else.
Why you email for town card?
Good luck.
Good luck to you too, but I know you don't gonna go far.
So in response, Kalanick writing, quote, "To say that I am ashamed is an extreme understatement. My job as your leader is to lead. That is not what I did, and it cannot be explained away." He continued, quote, "I must fundamentally change as a leader and grow up. I need leadership help, and I intend to get it." So, Jason, as an early investor in this company, what's your reaction? It's just the latest in what has been a string of bad reputational blows for Uber lately.
Yeah, and I have to give a quick disclaimer. Obviously, I'm an angel investor in the company, but I have no operational role. I have no inside information. And obviously, I do not speak for the company. I only speak for myself. That being said, I've known Travis for close to 2 decades. I've known him through 3 companies. I don't think the tape represents him as much as the apology does. I think he's taken ownership of this. He knows he has to improve, and he's not blaming anybody else. Now, I will tell you that in the arc of history, when you look at these technology companies, you can count on 1 or 2 hands the number of executives who've built a company from 5 people to 5,000 or 50,000. Bill Gates, Larry Ellison, Larry and Sergey, Zuckerberg. And if you look at all of those individuals, they all had this kind of crises of leadership and having to look in the mirror and ask themselves, hey, what got me from that 5-person company to this 5,000-person company is not serving me to get to that next level. What got you here will not get you there, is what we say in Silicon Valley. And so I think Travis understands this very well, and I'm encouraged by the fact that his team and the people around him have rallied around him, and they support him. And I am 100% confident and certain that Travis is going to turn into one of those legendary, and I believe he is to a certain extent, legendary CEOs that we've seen, like Bill Gates, like Larry Ellison. People are not perfect. They need to improve, and I think he's on that journey. And I think he surrounded himself with some great people, Bill Gurley, Arianna Huffington, and other folks who are around him, and he's listening to them, and he understands he has to improve. And, you know, what we've seen in the last couple of weeks are self-inflicted wounds. They need to be healed, and they need to take these things very seriously, and they are. So I'm very encouraged as a stakeholder and a shareholder, but as Travis's friend and as a longtime supporter of his and fan of his, I think he's going to do fine, and I'm rooting for him.
Jason, it is just, it's gut-wrenching to see the CEO of this multi-billion-dollar valuation company treat not just anybody on the street, but one of his contractors this way. To me, it's notable. Not only is there the threat of alienating the customer with this delete Uber thing because of the way the company has been behaving, alienating employees because of the treatment of women, and then you have this contractor issue. Isn't this the litmus test for, as technology gets closer and closer to our everyday lives, whether we expect better behavior than perhaps we got from Steve Jobs and Larry Ellison and Bill Gates in their heydays, because this is closer to us than their products were?
John, it's all fair points. You know, I think when you look at a company like Uber or Airbnb, a lot of these companies have had to fight and fight and fight just to exist, right? They've tried to stop these companies from doing what they've done in terms of innovating with transportation, or in Airbnb's case, housing. And if you spend all of your time fighting, and you're constantly fighting to try to just merely exist, I think sometimes you get a fighter mentality. And I think what happens is at a certain point you have to hang up the boxing gloves, you have to hang up the fighting, and say, you know what, now I need to be the leader, the elder statesman, I have to be magnanimous. And I think that's going to be the next phase of Travis's career. I think he's got the right people around him. And yeah, it's gut-wrenching. And, you know, I can tell you that I don't think Travis feels very good about it. I think he's ashamed, as he said in his statement. And I think sometimes it's this kind of pressure and this kind of crises that actually makes the individual. I've seen it over and over again in my career. And, you know, I'm rooting for him, and I'm rooting for the company. You know, on a business level, the business is on very sound footing. But we do need to get these leadership issues worked out, and we're going to do that in a very short period of time. So I'm confident about it. Obviously, I'm not happy about what's happened, but I'm also not the type of investor who's going to come out and throw the CEO under the bus or just attack them to do virtue signaling and make myself feel good about myself. I'm going to sit here and tell you, I know the individual, I know he's a good person, and I know that he's going to work on these issues. And I am rooting for him to succeed, because what they did to innovate in transportation and the amount of effort that took is, you know, tremendous. To solve these internal problems is a fraction of that effort. So this is going to be not easy, but they're going to be able to get it done, and they're going to get it done quickly, and we're going to rebuild the reputation, and we're going to rebuild the goodwill, because you are right about the goodwill issues. People are now not giving Uber the benefit of the doubt, and we have to rebuild that trust, and we're going to.